Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. Now, you might be wondering why I chose to put on that, depending on your perspective, either terrible or excellent fake British accent. I don't know really which one it is, but it's because today I want to talk about the brand new premium Tier 7 British battleship HMS Lion. This is a special and rare ship. It is only obtainable by acquiring enough of the winter coins, which are a temporary kind of currency that you can earn by playing the game through this current update in the holiday season of 2021. These coins, they're called winter coins. I think you can get them by playing some of the missions that are currently available in the missions tab. Also by finishing the campaign early and continuing to do the milestones. And finally, I think there are some of these winter coins up for grabs in the upcoming legendary tier arena seasons. So, no matter how you get these coins, you need 25,000 of them in total in order to buy HMS Lion from the special section of the store. The way you get this ship is sort of like the way that the Lenin was obtainable way back several months ago, maybe even a year ago. Honestly, I can't remember how long ago it was when the Lenin was first available, but I was able to grind out that currency for the Lenin, and I had to pay a little bit more to get all the currency I needed in order to afford that ship, and I think the story is the same with the Lion. So you can probably grind out a lot of the winter coins, a lot of them toward the asking price of this ship, but you probably are going to need to buy some of whatever the Santa crates are that give you these coins. I think some of the Santa crates give you these coins. I'm not actually sure, honestly, how you go about buying these coins, but you're going to need to spend some money if you want to get this ship. You aren't going to be able to grind it out for free. So the question is, will it be worth it? And I suppose that's a bit of a tricky answer. So what's the story on HMS Lion? Well, as you can see, it resembles the Tier 6 tech tree British battleship King George. So it's sort of got like a King George class hull. That's how it looks anyway. The differences, though, are that this has better armor than the King George. Wherever the King George has 26mm overmatchable plating, the Lion has 32mm plating, meaning no battleship at Tier 7 can overmatch it. Only the Yamato can. So, better armored than the King George. It's also got 9 16-inch guns. And the other Tier 7 premium British battleship, the Monarch, which is available for Global XP, also has 9 guns, although they are 15 inches. So essentially, this is sort of a souped-up version of the Monarch. Now, the high explosive on these guns has a maximum alpha strike when running the Azurlane Nelson commander, which I'm using with the Big 7 skill. Maximum HE alpha strike of 8,000, which puts it at one of the higher potential HE alpha strikes for any battleship in the game. Also, it has a 46% fire chance. So this thing can certainly be a flamethrower. It can certainly be lighting a lot of fires with the rest of the British battleships. And then the armor piercing, again with Azurlane Nelson's Big 7 skill influencing the build, has an alpha strike of over 14,000, which puts this ship in the same league as the Iowa. However, I do believe the armor piercing on these shells is short-fused armor piercing, meaning it is going to be more difficult to hit the citadels of enemy battleships with this AP, but theoretically it should be easier to hit the citadels of cruisers with it. In fact, I think there's going to be a shot later on in this game versus an Ochakov, where we are able to strike that Ochakov's citadel. And if you've ever shot at an Ochakov, you know that that doesn't always happen when you're shooting at it with battleships of other nations. But the short-fused British armor-piercing is uniquely suited to punish cruisers with narrow citadel profiles like the Ochakov, who are used to getting overpenned more often than not by battleship caliber AP. This AP, less likely to do that, so that's quite good. In fact, the damage output of these guns is very good, but there are some peculiarities about them. If you've been paying attention to the shots that I've been taking at the enemy ships throughout the course of this game so far, you'll notice that the accuracy on these guns seems to leave a little bit to be desired, and I can't quite figure out what the problem is with the accuracy on these guns. Sometimes it feels like I am shooting from the most inaccurate German battleship in the game. Other times, it feels like I am shooting the Stalin-guided shells of a Russian battleship. In other words, the accuracy on these guns seems to me to be highly inconsistent. But when they do hit, either with the high explosive or the armor piercing, they do hit incredibly hard. Also, I think I mentioned they are 16-inch guns, so they have all the overmatch potential of 16-inch guns, which right away places this ship above both the Monarch and Vanguard in terms of its ability to overmatch, so that's one reason why you might want to pick it up. But the other problem with these guns is that the firing angles are atrocious. You have to get a lot of broadside showing in order to get all of the turrets on target, either when you're going forward or when you are kiting away. So this ship will require you to do a bit of maneuvering in order to get all of your guns on target all of the time, and that's not always going to be possible. However, I do like the ship. I didn't like it at first in my first 4 or 5 games that I played with it because, again, the accuracy leaves a little bit to be desired. But this game here is the game where it really kind of clicked for me, I suppose. Now, my team's not exactly doing well. We've lost 5 ships, whereas the enemy has lost only 2. And so far, in terms of our personal performance, we have sunk 1 enemy ship, but we're going to sink 4 more before this game ends, and we're going to take a good crack at actually carrying this game for our team. Although, spoiler alert, we are going to come up a little bit short. Nevertheless, I think you're going to see what the Lion here is capable of, and you can see there versus the Scharnhorst just how much broadside I'm giving him in order to get all of my guns on target, but I'm holding my shot, anticipating that if he's going to continue in this direction, he is going to have to turn and give me broadside, and he's given me quite a bit there. You can see the armor-piercing shells have no issues smacking him and taking him out for our second kill of the game. We've got the key out there behind that rock, and as he slips behind it, that should give us an opportunity to turn away. The reason we've been sailing in this direction for the entire course of this game is because all of the enemy destroyers seemed to spawn near that Charlie Cap, and we had to run away from them. We could not push into them without the risk of being torpedoed. Key coming out around the corner, we had the high explosive loaded for that Yudachi. We send it at the key, we get a fire. Sometimes if these shells don't hit where they can penetrate, the damage isn't spectacular, but like I said, the high explosive alpha potential on this ship is ridiculous, and if you do hit a lot of shells on the parts of an enemy ship where you can penetrate, you can sometimes get 10, 15k salvos with the high explosive. It's a lot like the Nelson in that regard, or the Conqueror. But also the armor piercing, again, with this broadside key, giving us not quite flat broadside, but broadside enough. We're able to get nearly a 20k salvo on him. No citadels again, because I think this is the short-fused AP. And right now, our team is 3 ships floating versus 4 enemy ships. The Yudachi has been dispatched, and there is only a Friesland left. That is the enemy's only remaining destroyer, so we know he's not a torpedo threat. About 5 minutes left to go in this game. If we do want to carry it for our team, we're going to have to start getting aggressive now, because the only way we're going to win is by sinking all of these ships. Unfortunately, the destroyers on my team just did not do as good of a job as the enemy destroyers in terms of taking the capture circles. So we've got the key right in front of us. We see the Friesland out there, and we see the Colorado in the center. We're going to try to finish off the key before we go after any of the other ships. Sending a salvo of high explosive his way, you can see that we managed to hit some part of his ship with 4 shells that we couldn't actually penetrate. But we do start a fire, which he promptly extinguishes, so we'll keep that high explosive loaded. You can almost expect a fire every time you shoot this high explosive and land enough shells. Not quite, you're not going to get a fire every single time, but in that case, we get a good roll of the dice there in terms of RNG, and we like 2 permanent fires on this key. Now, the thing about the key, of course, is that it comes with 6-kilometer range torpedoes. So as we push into this key, we are going to have to be aware of that, and we are going to have to anticipate his torpedoes in order to dodge them. We've switched to the armor piercing. There we get an excellent accurate shot right into his superstructure, but the key is starting to perform a turn, which I believe indicates he is going to launch his torpedoes. So we pretend like we're going to turn one way, and then after we think he's launched his torpedoes, we in fact slow down very significantly, coming to a complete stop and turn the other way. And that is going to be just enough maneuvering to allow us to dodge the torpedoes. And that is essentially how it's done when you push into a battleship that has torpedoes. We were able to bait that key quite successfully there. That leaves only the Colorado, the Friesland, and as of right now, an unknown enemy battleship. Friesland is obviously posted behind this island, spamming us with his high explosive. We've got the HE chambered, trying to get around the island so we can hopefully get vision on this Friesland, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So we're setting our sights toward the Colorado now, and we are going to turn our bow in toward the Friesland to hopefully make ourselves a smaller target for him. Hopefully, if he shoots at us, some of his shells will hit our bow and not penetrate rather than hit our superstructure. But you may have noticed also that HMS Lion has the super British heel, like the Nelson, like the Conqueror. So we have actually tanked a lot of damage in this ship by absorbing it and then using the heel. That's one great thing about having these super heals on the British battleship, is that if you take healable damage, or if you soak it up, you can regain your hit points by engaging the super heal. And that is how these more lightly armored British battleships tend to tank. There's the Friesland, though, 4 kilometers away from us. He's not going to be able to escape. One of the turrets is, actually all of the turrets are reloaded, but we're only going to need to get 1 shot on this Friesland. We get excellent accuracy. We take him out for our 4th kill of the game. And now we're able to turn to the Colorado, who is broadside right in front of us, playing a little bit carelessly since our attention was focused on the Friesland. We're getting kind of low on health. This Colorado could, if he gets a really, really good shot, potentially take us out. But he's expended all of his armor-piercing shells. We're able to engage the super heal. He is still broadside to us, so we take careful aim at where his citadel would be. And we're able to strike his citadel at close range twice for our 5th kill. And the Kraken unleashed. Unfortunately, there's less than 1 minute left to go in this game, and we're not going to have enough time to get eyes on the last remaining enemy battleship, who is going to spend the remainder of his time in this match behind that island unseen by us, which is exactly the right move for him. He is already in a position to win, so there's no need for him to win harder. So GG to that battleship. although I would have preferred this game to be a win to complement this Xarkun. But the Lion, with its super heal and excellent AP and high explosive, I think is great. I wasn't sold on it to begin with, but after having played it more, I like it a lot. The turret angles and the accuracy certainly leave a little bit to be desired, but if you can work through those and you enjoy the rest of the British battleships, I think you are going to like this ship. Plus, given the way that you have to acquire it by spending those winter coins, this, much like the Tier 7 Russian battleship Lenin, is probably going to be a rare ship that we may never see come back to the game. So it may be something out there that you want to pick up. I know that I will be picking it up, and I do enjoy playing it. So I hope this video armed you with the knowledge you need to know about this ship. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up before you go. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.